I went from such a high position as a artist. I went from such a high position as an artist that was well thought of and that was doing like poetry and was about his art and etc. Despite me not agreeing with everything cultural and stuff like that about Black Lives Matter and etc. I was still trying to be polite and respectful and keep my p's and q's and stuff when it came to the cultural stuff and stuff. But some people knew in the back of their minds and hearts that I already didn't believe in the cultural stuff and stuff like that. um I mean, I brought it up to somebody one day again, and it's like, well, we kind of support these people, and we kind of do support these people. I don't know what to tell you. I don't have time to really talk to you, or get the fuck lost. Is basically what I got told by one of the people who I know is one of the main haters I've had when it came to the cultural stuff and the cultural push and the arts and etc. in downtown Torrington and etc. When it comes to cultural stuff and uh, critical race theory and stuff like that. Um, so I got pretty much told off. And then there's probably a lot of other people saying stuff about me and stuff too, where I kind of now was silently dropped from the National Beat Poetry Foundation, where I was getting my poems published and stuff. And I silently got dropped. I don't know if it was something that had to do with, the fact that Ann Waldman was basically part of the National Beat Poetry Foundation, or she had something to do with the National Beat Poetry Foundation, and had something to do with some old Joseph Arthur beef that, me and Joseph Arthur had some old Joseph Arthur beef that's coming back up to play because, Ann Waldman knows Patti Smith, and Patti Smith knows Michael Stipe and etc. So it goes down the chain of, people that know Joseph Arthur and etc. to bring up some old Joseph Arthur beef. But, I mean, the thing is, this is so far fetched and so far like really out there to me that people were questioning about there being a problem and questioning about me having such a problem and etc. Trying to look for a problem. That now that I've lost certain things and certain things have been taken from me and etc. quietly, and some people are trying to do it peacefully and stuff, so there's not a lot of issues and stuff. But now that people have actually done that and people have actually taken stuff from me because of the cultural stuff and the cultural push and the disagreements, artistically and locally and stuff like that, there definitely is an issue. There definitely now is an issue, and now people do got to be worried and concerned because that's exactly how I feel. I mean, I went from not having to be worried and concerned at all, or people not having to be worried or concerned at all, to the point that people have pushed it so far about concerns about my mental health and etc. when I was fine and etc. that there was really no problem and no concern or no worry to be worried about in the first place. But come to find out, they pushed it so far where I've lost opportunities, I've lost things that were very dear to me in my mental health, and now I lost things to me for my mental health and etc. because of the bullshit about them, carrying on about my mental health and etc. That I now am I now am in some crises of my mental health and my career and etc. because people want to push critical race theory and just have had a lot of disagreements within the arts and within the local community about how people are going to go forward and etc. So um, it went from there, that being a problem, to me having a very huge problem, and me kind of feeling very vengeful or very very revengeful when it comes to the arts and the artists and stuff. I mean, I hate to admit that because some people have already tried to look for the cops to be involved and etc. But people have already kind of got me feeling kind of vengeful when it comes to the arts and etc. Because people have pushed it way too far, and the things that I lost and things that people put at jeopardy that to make me actually lose or not something I would have played with, or not something I would have actually been upset about. But then again, it could be the local community, could be the local disagreements that I've had with different people and etc. Or it could be some old beef with Joseph Arthur that basically wanted to squash me being with the National Beat Poetry Foundation and me getting my poems published and me being in there with people like Ann Waldman and Neil Cassidy and things, the heroes of people like Michael Stipe and Patti Smith and etc. So So there obviously might have been something said on that end too. I don't know if it was an old Joseph Arthur beef or whether it's local issues and stuff, or both, or whether it's both that played into, locally things are being said, and now my heroes and people are trying to get a hearing of what's going on, and etc. Now they're like, trying to squash things that, because things are people are taking things out of proportion. People are doing things when people don't know the full truth about things, or don't know the full scenario, and etc. And people try to get it out of me and stuff too. But I'm not going to talk. I'm not ready. I wasn't ready to talk. I'm not going to talk, because once you go and call the cops on me and stuff, looking for that type of incitement for things to be bad enough to call the cops, which they weren't. They weren't at that point yet, but when people went to call the cops and stuff on me and etc., that was like kind of a boundary issue that kind of got busted, kind of got broken. And once that boundary issue got broken, I was going down to the arts, or going down to certain places less and less, because the boundary got broken. The boundary and something I put as a huge red flag got thrown in my face. So. So there's an issue. And there's obviously it's making me feel revengeful or vengeful when it comes to things. When it comes to things, and comes to my notion of how I feel, and people are concerned about that. People say they weren't concerned up until I said it, but it's true. I mean, obviously, there was no need for revenge at first, and etc. But now it's like I feel very, very much the need for revenge, or very much the need to kind of take my anger out in certain ways, in certain areas, and point it towards certain things that. Some people might be concerned, some people might not be, but I'm trying to breathe, and I'm trying to, handle this very professionally and etc. But professionally and etc., people are trying to, say things about me and squash me like I actually did not matter. My whole career, what I was trying to do did not matter. It mattered to me, and it mattered to my mental health, and it mattered to my situation. So if people were so concerned about my mental health, they wouldn't have did what the fucking shit they did, but they did the fucking shit they did. So now I am in a very much of a mental health problem, and a very much of a mental health crisis in a way, when it comes to what they did. But the only way to really go about things right now is to go forward, and just to support my artwork, and do my art page, and my life the way I've been doing it, is just moving forward and trying to handle me. As far as the arts, I'm sure they will get what's coming to them eventually, because it's not what goes around comes around in karma. What goes around comes around in karma. And what exactly happened was not karmactically fair. It was not karmactically fair. Some people say it was karma, and it was karmactically fair, but it wasn't karmactically fair. It wasn't karmactically fair. It wasn't karmactically right. But for the fact that it actually happened to me, and people are trying to play this game or play this scenario like Carl's such a problem, is such an issue. And it's people like John Noki, and Eric Hahn of Connecticut Wonderful and stuff like that, and Conrad of who does Trinity's Church and stuff like that. Some of those people basically are being called out, because some of those people were some of my biggest haters, and really secretly hating on me and stuff too. I mean, I have videos I've done of like live performances and stuff too, where I'm doing live performances, and you can hear them make kind of like smart remarks under their breath and stuff when they're recording the video for me. They're like laughing or making smart remarks underneath their breath, like I can't take me seriously, So so it's a big issue. It's a big issue and a problem, and people wonder why I no longer support the Democrats or the liberals. And some of this has to do with the with the liberal and Democratic push that's been taking over the arts for the last several years, where I've tried to support it for like the last 6 or 7, and then eventually kind of got discredited, and people are trying to make an example out of me for critical race theory and etc. because I'm white and etc. And I don't agree with certain things, and I believe in interracial relationships, and want to date outside my race, and all this other stuff that people want to make a big deal out of, that that there wasn't an issue, and now there is an issue, especially coming from the liberals and the Democrats when it comes to, my position on the Hill and what I was doing and etc. So, ironically, some of the beefs are supposed to be, Republicans, right? the head of the National Beat Poetry Foundation is supposed to be Republican. Her husband's supposed to be Republican. She's supposed to be Republican, but yet we disagree on cultural issues and how we're doing, business wise when it comes to me working with certain people and me wanting to work with certain people and her wanting to work with certain people. So it's about like what she wants as a business and as a position compared to what I want or what I need as a business in a position. So we clashed, and she dropped me quietly from the Beat Poetry Foundation, for multiple reasons. Things have probably got out now about Joseph Arthur and how Joseph Arthur and I had a misunderstanding back in the day. It's funny though, because Joe saw me. Joe actually followed. Was following me for a little bit. In the last couple of months, he was liking some of the posts I was doing. He was seeing what I was doing, and what I was into, and etc. When it came to the arts and me trying to read my poetry and really shine my light and etc. So Joe Arthur kind of did like my posts and stuff. So I know, in a way, I kind of realize that there was not any. I don't think there was any beef, but in case there is any beef, I stopped following Joseph Arthur too, because this whole thing has just turned into a big mess when it came to the local critical race theory stuff and the cultural stuff and stuff like that, which people want to push on me, and people want to push on me because they want to make me feel like I have white privilege, or make me feel like I have some type of privilege, and etc. Because I'm white, and all this other bullshit that people push on people, that is just ridiculous. So basically that's how I feel. I feel very revengeful, and I feel very much like taking out revenge and feeling very much like revenge, and I don't really know what to do with that feeling and stuff, but all I know is I'm going forward. I'm trying to breathe, and I'm trying to do what I need to do. But people say, oh well, we because there really wasn't any need to be concerned before. People had called the cops and stuff, and said we're concerned about my mental health. Yet I was going to an open mic, at Trinity Church and stuff, and I was, reading my poetry and getting involved in, the open mics and stuff. And people saw me, artists saw me, and people saw me, and people saw that I was all right and I was doing okay, despite not liking some of the cultural stuff and stuff, but trying to be professional about it. People saw me being okay, but yet, the thing is that people want to put me in that shadow. People want to put me in that, Black Lives Matter shadow and stuff. If I don't believe in Black Lives Matter, if I don't believe in the cultural push, I don't get my career. I don't get to do certain things. I don't get to play well with others, which really fucking sucks. But where there's a line being crossed too is where they started putting my mental health and stuff, and my mental health was starting to be in stuff too. And some of it goes back to Taquana's too, where there was a big, cultural push for Taquana, and Taquana's store being the first black business, which was a soul food restaurant and stuff too. When she basically hired me to do a job, and, hired me, and then there were some issues within the first 24 hours that I worked for her that, of being on the job and stuff, that I had to walk off the job for my own mental health, my own sanity, and etc. Which people are making it a big thing about my mental health and etc. But they're only making things worse, and they're only making, they're only going to make the scenario worse, and that's exactly what they're doing. But I mean, I'm trying to breathe and not do anything I'm going to regret, because people are trying to push me into like a mental health crisis or some type of crisis where they feel the cops are going to have to be called, or something's going to have to be said, because they want to push me in a position where I might seek revenge, or I might do something out of character because I'm feeling angered towards them, or etc. Which I'm not going to let that happen. But my mental health workers are a little concerned for that happening too. Because nobody wants Carl like flipping out on the downtown artist and stuff like that. But I mean, honest to God, I'm at my rope's end in some cases too when it comes to stuff, and I'm trying to handle things artistically, professionally, and kindly, but and in some cases, in a lot of cases, I'm innocent. A lot of cases, I'm innocent, and they basically just took somebody who's kind of innocent, and somebody who had the most innocent and the most purest intentions to really connect and really honor everybody as an artist and support everybody, and just threw it down the drain. Through like 6 or 7 years of support of like the local artists and stuff, and all this stuff down the drain, to the point that I'm no longer longer supporting, the liberal and the Democrats because of it, and not a lot of people artistically either. So, I'm now kind of more, I'm independent, but I'm more leaning towards, independently, I'm more leaning towards the Republicans this year. And actually, I won't lie, I voted Republican all around the board. I'm not going to lie about it. Republican all around the board, I voted this year. So my opinion was straight down the row of Republicans. So I'm getting the Republican. I'm trying to get the Republicans into the office. Because I think Republicans are not going to, deal with this crap with critical race theory and stuff too, and they're not going to, the thing is, I had a job, and nobody wanted to take the job seriously, or at least the the store owner didn't want to take the job seriously. She wasn't there during the day, and she comes on the job and starts yelling at everybody and etc. But she doesn't want to be there during the day. She wants to go and make music videos and shake her ass and music videos and stuff, and stuff like that, to make her music career and stuff. And yet, she's had people in her store kind of unsupervised doing, for manual labor and stuff like that. So, so I really don't give a shit for the fucking, Democratic or, liberals that very much. And people wonder why I feel vengeful because, the shit has hit the fan. Shit has hit the fan in a way. It's just the funny thing is I still want to be able to go out and support people. I still want to go out and be able to support local and stuff like that. But there was a very bad, conflict of cultural push and, seeing eye to eye with some of the people and the artists that I was a part of that obviously supported other artists. And, there were differences of opinions between supporting those artists and not supporting those artists and et cetera that, people just kind of wanted to drop me and then drop me from what I was doing and et cetera. So they kind of dropped me in my position on the Hill. But, I never wanted to drop my position on the Hill. It was very beneficial to my mental health and my growth to be able to write and to be able to read and be able to do the stuff I was doing. And it really kind of took a big blow to my mental health, my self-esteem, and just my overall being that I can't, I trusted people to be, to have myself be vulnerable to go up on a stage and share my work and et cetera. And then, next thing the whole thing gets taken from me. So, I'm not happy. I'm not happy with the Republicans. I'm not happy with the Democrats. I'm not happy with the liberals. I am joining the Republicans. This year, kind of, and in a more independent sense, I'm joining the Republicans. So, but yeah, that's just a little about what has happened. And people wonder why I shouldn't feel vengeful. I do feel vengeful. I do feel like taking out revenge. I do feel anger towards certain people like John Noki and certain people. I mean, I do feel anger towards them, Unfortunately, people are trying to already incite an issue with like the cops being called and et cetera, because they kind of already probably could have guessed it, that there was an issue coming like that, because, they wanted to push things in that regard and into that way, into that, notion that they pushed everything into the whole situation to the point that's what they were looking for, and that's exactly what they're getting. So, I don't know what to tell the local artists and et cetera, but I don't think it's very fair or very fair, et cetera. I mean, some of these people were supposed to be my friends and some of these people I supported and et cetera, but all their books went up to Goodwill. All the stuff they signed for me and et cetera. A lot of their books went up to Goodwill. A lot of their stuff just went to Goodwill, and I said, the fuck it. I wasted all my time and my money supporting all these people and trying to get in, make memories and try to, connect with all these people, and yet, all the memories and all the people I was connected to are a bunch of bullshit and are a bunch of frauds and fakes, and I had to, get rid of all the stuff I, spent money on, that I wasted my money and time, supporting. So, obviously people know me. I'm disabled. I don't have a lot of money, and out of my free time and my free spending, I would go down to the arts, and I would support like the bookstore, John Noki's bookstore, of like Howard's bookstore, or I would go down and get a coffee at Taquana's or something and support Taquana's by getting some soul food or something. I mean, I never made a lot of money, and I never ever made a lot of money and etc. But the notion of me making a lot of money and me being an artist that makes a lot of money and etc. I have a lot of talent. See, the thing is, I have a lot of talent, and I know I have a lot of talent and stuff, and it shows in my artwork, and it shows in my poetry and stuff. But I don't really make a lot of money, and I'm not really making like thousands of dollars, or kind of like a rich person. But I was in with some very influential people that, that were my heroes and stuff. And somehow I got dropped and, quietly censored and silenced, after, the last book. I basically, published a poem called Empty Cup, and the Empty Cup was my last poem, which I need to actually get that book at some point too. By the end of the year, I want to get that book, with my poem Empty Cup in it, which is the last poem, and situation I'm going to probably be able to, get, that I've actually had published, because I don't think they're going to be working with me again, because they silently dropped me and etc. So, I defriended a lot of beat poets and stuff too, because I already knew this was going to happen, that this was going to be such a big over the top thing that, it just was going to be disastrous. And, I'm trying to avoid disaster. I'm trying to just, quench the disaster situation. I mean, obviously my mental health workers are at a position right now because, the outside of like the local community and the arts were doing a lot for my mental health and et cetera, to the point that, now that now there's very little that my mental health agency can really do for my mental health, and can really do for, for my mental health and to help me mental health wise, because there was such a big, influence on my mental health and et cetera when it came to the arts and what I was doing with the arts and et cetera, that my mental health agency is kind of powerless when it comes to really helping me or figuring out what to do to help me to really, really help my situation and et cetera. So John Noki's a fucking fraud. He's a fucking idiot, Conrad at the fucking Trinity Church is a fucking idiot. Eric Hahn of Connecticut's wonderful, and the Connecticut Poetry Guild, he's a fucking idiot. You know, um, some people are just fucking idiots, but that's just how I feel. Like, I feel vengeful, and I'm trying to just cope every day, with the feeling of like wanting to just take my anger out and my situation out on some people who I feel like deserve it. But but that's just going to create more of an escalation that people have already been seeking, and etc. So it's like, what the fuck do I do? I mean, did I deserve this drama? Did I deserve this type of drama? Did I deserve this type of bullshit to lose my whole fucking career, when I actually fucking didn't do anything to anybody? I don't know, but it's basically what I fucking got at this point. So, but that's just my whole situation about the arts and what I've been kind of saying when about, Joe Arthur and, the local community and et cetera, and how I've been feeling and how I should be feeling. So for those who wanted to know and et cetera, that's what I'm trying to say. And that's exactly how I've kind of said it at this point. So anyways.